Good morning. To my right are indeed the lilies of the valley. Welcome to Wednesday. We hope that this finds you well and ready to face the new day. Now, June the 17th may just seem like any other day, but in the past, some fairly auspicious events have taken place. Did you know, for example, that on this day in 1239, King Edward I of England, also known as Edward Longshanks, because of his height and the hammer of the Scots, was born? We'll expect an email from Neil de Villiers any moment now. Or that in 1579, Francis Drake anchored the Golden Hind just north of what would one day be San Francisco Bay, California, and proclaimed England's sovereignty over an area he named New Albion. In 1703, John Wesley was born, and in 1823, Charles Mackintosh patented the waterproof cloth he used to make raincoats, after experimenting with waste rubber products from Glasgow's new gasworks. And finally, the fact you've all been waiting for: in 2014, Blackpool sold off its 6,000 deck chairs that had been mothballed since 2011. Quote, "We found that the majority of people would sit on the new benches or the Spanish steps, and there was no longer a demand for the deck chairs." Well, truly this was the end of an era. So whatever you get up to today, whether or not it makes history, may it make you happy and keep the sun shining in your life. Now, to change with the times. Yesterday we announced the future development of the Viral Times. This is to remind you that the times, they are a-changing. The final and 100th issue of the Viral Times will be delivered on Thursday the 25th of June, and then, like a phoenix from the ashes, our new weekly publication, entitled Connect Up, will arise, the first one on Saturday the 27th of June. Connect Up will replace the old Pew News. Now, we're going to make sure that paper copies of Connect Up will continue to be available in our churches, but because most will be distributed by email, it will mean that we won't have to print off nearly as many as we used to, thus saving paper, which of course is a very good thing. Now, why are you receiving this? And by this we mean the emailed version of the Viral Times. Well, that's a good question. Now, we don't want to assume just because you've been a subscriber to the Viral Times that you will necessarily want to receive Connect Up. So, if you would like us to take your name off the list of recipients, please let us know. Of course, we will be distraught to lose you, and you'll miss out on all sorts of interesting and wonderful things, but we will, of course, do as we are told. So seriously, just let us know if you want to come off the mailing list. And so too, a different perspective. Over the last 2 days, we've heard views from younger children about their feelings on lockdown. Today we hear from 17-year-old Molly Kennett, who on Monday returned to school for the first time since March. Now, Molly is in the 6th form, Year 12, at Barton Court Grammar School in Canterbury. And Molly writes this: "Yesterday, like it was for many others across the country, was my first day back at school, and it was quite the experience. Upon arrival at the gates to the school, we had to sanitise our hands with one of the many bottles of sanitizer provided, and walk in over disinfected mats to ensure our shoes were clean also. We then had to walk around the back of the main building where teachers were stationed along the way telling us where to go. After following the directions of 3 teachers, I arrived in my classroom. All of the windows were open to allow fresh air to be in the room, and the tables were laid out so that we could continue to social distance. There was 1 pupil per desk. I've been having a lot of my lessons over Microsoft Teams, which allows you to see your teacher and discuss the subject with your class online. For the pupils that couldn't make it in or didn't feel safe doing so, our teacher began to record our lessons for the people still at home. We had 4 hours of English, which is one of my subjects for my A-level. After a couple of hours we had break, and we all went outside and sat on disinfected chairs in a large circle. Our school is allowing 2 bubbles a day, and so on one end of the tennis courts was my class, the first bubble, and about 50 metres on the other end of the courts was the Spanish class, the other bubble. It was quite entertaining trying to communicate with our friends from the other subject. Well, all in all, it was just nice to be in a room with my class again. It's odd to think I may not see my English teacher now until September, though. Hopefully soon things will be back to normal, although the knock-on effects of the virus are certainly going to be noticed around school for a while. Thank you, Molly, for sending that in. And to those of us for whom school days are a long, long time ago, it's certainly interesting to see how schools are managing the current situation. So thank you very much indeed. Burning question. In our look at the results of the questionnaire today, we look at how often people were making use of prayer during the day, night prayer, the Viral Times email, and the Viral Times video. Now, the 2 significant things here are, first of all, the large number of people who are reading the Viral Times every day. 138 of those who receive it by email said they were. With the additional 64 going out by hand, that is over 200 people. The other interesting fact is that although prayer during the day is used by more people than night prayer, 111 and 93 respectively, a total of 30 people use it daily, or 4 to 6 times a week. That's 19 plus 11. Whereas 37 people use night prayer daily, or 4 times a week, 4 to 6 times a week, that's 18 plus 19. Therefore, probably making it the most used of the 2 services. The Viral Times video is also pretty popular, with 123 people using it. That's 51 daily, and that is great, as it has proven to be our little bit of the day where we can let our hair down, those who have some, for the cameras. Now, in your emailed Viral Times today are those figures printed, so you can reread or visit those again to take them on board, and a natty little bar graph chart in glorious Technicolor. Tomorrow we start to incorporate some data from the hand delivery as we look at the services people would like to attend. Now then, did you know that roses grow on you? Robert and Dilma Abel got in touch yesterday, and they say this: whilst deadheading our plants on this glorious morning, we came up against this beautiful sight. And the beautiful sight in question is a splendid rose in their garden. So have a look at the photograph. We planted the rose some 5 years ago, and every year it has struggled and disappointed. But, like the ugly duckling, it has now blossomed into a lovely swan. We thought we would possibly, share it with the Viral Times readers if it is worthy enough. Well, it certainly is that. And Robert and Dilma end up by saying, echoing what we all feel really, I guess, we are looking forward to seeing our 8 o'clock team at the Sunday service when it recommences. Yeah, we share that hope too, Robert and Dilma. Thank you. That leads us then very neatly really to the opening of our churches. For tomorrow, being Thursday, 2 of our churches will open for private prayer. St Michael's will be open from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the evening, and St Mildred's from 10:30 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which will give us a little bit of space we need each day to record our acts of worship. For the moment, St John's will remain closed. Now, please do note when you come in that only limited areas of both churches will be accessible. This is to enable us to keep the churches clean and safe just for you. Now, when visiting our churches, please adhere to social distancing requirements, and please do make use of the hand sanitizer as you enter and leave. We do look forward very much indeed to welcome you back into our churches, and we thank God that we can begin to use them once more. Now, there's an interesting little typo article in today's Viral Times. I'm not going to read it online because over the internet, because there may be some of you who are of a very, very sensitive disposition. So, if you want to follow it up, steel yourselves and read a little excerpt that somebody called Mo Dobson, though he didn't say her name, has sent in. A little typo, which is rather amusing. Okay, so moving on then, swiftly, we come to our Viral Times and website worship. Now, as always, you can access the Viral Times video edition and also today's worship, consisting of prayer during the day and night prayer, through Facebook, YouTube and our website. So do have a look at those, and the leaflets to accompany both those services are attached to Viral Times today. Then we come to Thought for the Day, a Bible reading from St Luke's Gospel. We continue our journey through the third Gospel. We follow the reading with a little reflection and some prayers, and we hope you find those helpful. And that then brings us to the contact list, which you can recite probably just as well as I, even without any briefing notes in front of you. So do have a look, and if we can help in any way, we will. There's Helping in Tenterden. Their numbers, contact details are listed, as are those of Refuge, as are those of our ministry team. And we are, as always, poised and ready to respond. Okay, so I think, with one last sniff of these beautiful lilies, that brings me neatly to the end. So please remember, keep safe, keep praying, and keep connected. And we won't be saying that for many more days. No, not for many more days. In a few days' time, we'll be saying that possibly almost for the last time, at least daily. So maybe it'll be once a week, maybe not at all, who knows? We'll wait and see. We'll keep you on tenterhooks. Thank you. Have a lovely day.